In this video, we're going to show you how to install a window regulator on your Ford Focus located in the driver's door. And I want to go ahead and remove our door panel here. We're going to start by coming out to the outer edge. There's a little cap right here. We're going to use our pocket screwdriver. Open up that little window there and use our Phillips head screwdriver to loosen and remove the screw in here. Once we get this one out, there's going to be 3 more running across the bottom of the door panel. Let's go ahead and tackle those. Now on the top of the door panel, right behind our door release here, is a plastic cover. We need to pop that cover off. My choice of tool is a pocket flathead screwdriver. You're going to pull this out and go right on the back side and just pry it out. This just has some little tabs on here that lock it into place. So go ahead and set that aside. Now on the top here, we have the power mirror cover or the sail panel interior trim. I'm going to use my plastic trim tool to go ahead and get right behind the edge here, kind of wedge it in there and gently pry it out. Now there are little metal tabs or lock tabs on the back side here that just kind of lock into the door shell. Now we can leave this as is, or if you want to go ahead and separate the power mirror switch, there's just a little pinch tab on the bottom side. You're going to pinch that and pull that harness off. Now if your vehicle does not have power mirrors, then you won't have this. You're just going to have a separate panel. Go ahead and set that aside. Right in the door pull area where your power window switches are, this panel needs to pop up. I'm going to use a plastic trim tool. Go right in here, press down and lift up. Now when you lift this up, you have to pull it back and you're going to dislodge the mounting tab here that goes into the door panel. Now you want to go ahead and pop this switch panel off. It's a harness on the back side. Push in on the gray button, wiggle that connector off. You can set this down, but we will have to reinstall this afterwards without the door panel on to go ahead and get our window regulator into position. Now there are 2 T30 Torx bit screws. There's one right up top here, and there's one right behind where we removed that lower switch panel. I'm going to use my T30 Torx bit on my extension and my 1/4-inch ratchet. I want to go loosen and remove these. Let's go remove the lower one next. Now right here, I want to go ahead and remove this cover. We're going to use our trim tool. Going right through the top here and pop this off. Now right inside here, we're going to have a couple screws we need to go ahead, loosen and remove. Now the 2 screws on the inside are T30 Torx bit screws. Loosen and remove these. All right, we have both of the screws loose. Now what we want to do is we're going to come to the lower portion of the door and we're going to grab the lower pocket area here and just gently tug outward, separating the plastic push pins around the perimeter. Now these screws may pop out, so just watch for those there. And work your way around the perimeter. Now at this point here, we can take that door panel and we're going to lift it up. Now on the inside here, we have a power door lock switch, and we need to separate that connector. There's a little pinch tab right here at the base, right where those wires go in. So you want to go ahead and pinch that and pull that connector off. Now over here we have our door pull with the cable set up. So we're going to go ahead and remove the cable unit from the door panel and then pull the barrel end out of the handle itself. So this here pops right inside that barrel. And that comes around and snaps in. So when this comes out, pop that barrel end out, remove the door panel. Now here we have a water shield, and this helps protect the internal parts of the door. Now there is a self-healing adhesive around the perimeter, and you want to try and salvage it. You don't want to tear the plastic. So you can start to peel this down. Ours was already peeling a little bit, but it is kind of tacky. I like to use a razor blade and gently cut the adhesive and not the plastic. So at this point here, our water shield is ready to come off. However, last step we got to do before we pop that off is remove our door speaker. To remove our speaker, there are 4 screws here holding it. These are number 6 millimeter. Loosen and remove these. There's a little pinch tab. We need to press that and pull the connector off. Now that we have the connector removed from our speaker, we're going to use our trim tool. Follow this harness up here, and there is a plastic retainer that goes into the door through the water shield. Ideally, you want to go ahead and pop this out. There it is. And then we can go ahead and pull our water shield off and set it aside. At this point here, I'm going to take my window switch, click it on, and I'm going to put the key in the ignition here. And what we're going to do is we need to position the window regulator to where we can loosen the clamps on the glass. Now what we're looking for here is the bolts that hold the clamps secure to the glass on the regulator. There's going to be one accessible right here, and then over to the right, there's going to be one accessible through this window right here. It's just above where the rubber grommet is, and you're going to put your socket and extension in there to the 10 millimeter bolt. Let's go ahead and get to it. Let's go ahead and loosen this. I'm going to do the same to the one on the right. All right, so at this point here, our clamps are loose on the glass. We're going to go ahead and raise this up. Now at this point here, we want to get and secure the glass in place. What you may have at home is some tape. Use some masking tape or duct tape, something strong like that. Put it on the glass and up and over the door frame and onto the glass on the other side. We're going to use our suction cup tools here. At this point here, we should be able to lower the regulator and the glass should stay in place. Perfect. So we're ready to go ahead and unbolt our regulator. One last thing I want to do before I do that is our window motor over here. We want to disconnect the electrical connector. Just a little pinch tab on the back side to push down, pop that off. Now there's 5 8 millimeter screws holding this. There's one here, 2 on the bottom over here, and then 1 up top. I'm going to go ahead and undo the bottom ones first. And yes, the regulator will start to collapse inside the door. That's totally fine. If you want to hold it, great. Now we get to finagle this out of the pocket in the door. You just pop this switch off here. Right here in the middle of the door, there's a little plastic clip. I'm just going to use my pocket screwdriver and tuck those little tabs in. There you have it. You're going to take your new regulator. Make sure that it is positioned properly, meaning that the cables make an X, the motor is on the lower right, and the motor is slanted down and inward. Work that right up inside the door, just like you removed the old one. Okay, let's go ahead and start installing the screws. I'm going to come up to the upper left here. I need to make sure that our regulator is on the inside of the glass. There's one of our bolt holes there. Get that started. Let's go ahead and get the lower one. Pretty much we're just reversing the procedure at this point of the disassembly. All right, let's go ahead and snug those down. Go ahead and grab that connector here. I'm going to line this up, press it together. Let's hook up our switch here, raise this up. Now what I did was I raised the regulator to the point where we have access of the two 10mm bolts. We do want to make sure that those 10mm bolts are loose and that those clamps are open, ready to accept the glass. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the suction cups, or if you're using tape at home, loosen that tape, and we're going to slide the glass down inside the door and into the clamps on the regulator. Let's go ahead and remove our suction cups. All right, let's slowly grab that glass and shimmy it down. You can see the glass is right in the channel. And make sure it is in the front. And then we can go ahead and tighten down our 10mm. Now we want to snug these, don't over tighten. Do the same on that front one. And then we can go ahead and test it. Perfect. Disconnect your switch. Grab that water shield. We have our little trim button up here. That needs to get installed. I'll line that up. Line that up better. Now with it in its general location, we can go ahead and install our speaker. Snug down our speaker. Once those screws bottom out, snug them down. Now, for any reason, if your adhesive is not working anymore or you tore the plastic, it's okay. Go ahead and use a good tape, a heavy duty tape to go ahead and seal it up, and you should be fine. Now we're at the point we want to go ahead and hang our door panel. Now you want to start by locating our plastic push pins around the perimeter of our door shell. These are the ones that we popped off earlier. If any of them are missing, you want to go ahead and replace them, pop them back on, get them ready to go. Now as we bring this over, we have two things we need to connect. One is our power door lock switch. And the other is our cable. So we need to line that up, get that barrel end in, slide that over, and snap that into place. With these in place, we're going to raise this up. You want to make sure that your door lock rod is in the up position. It's going to help you. Tilt the door panel bottom out, line up that rod here. This can kind of be a pain in the butt. And then slide in the upper half and set it on the sill. Now at this point here, we have our door panel hung. Our plastic push pin should be lining up, making sure that that door panel is snapped into place. Now we can go ahead and start to line up our screws. I'm going to go ahead and take our large flathead Torx bit screws. One goes here on the inside of the door pull area, and the other one goes up top, right up here. Gently snug those down. Snug that down. Then we're going to follow up with the two inside the actual pull area here. I'm going to go ahead and put the screw on my Torx bit, feed that in. Do the same here. Run that down, snug it down. Reach down inside and grab the power cord and pull that through the door panel for your switch. You can line up our handle here. Go ahead and take your window switch, line up that connector, pop that on. And we're going to install the front. There's a little tab here that locks in. So install the front first, pushing that down and on, line it up, and then snap it down. Now on the upper section, we have our little trim panel right here that needs to go in. This piece here has a little notch at the bottom side, kind of curves out. That's the part that goes inward. Simply pull this out, line it up, and push it in. Snaps right into place. Install the sail panel trim cover. If you have the power mirror feature, you want to go ahead and install this here. Take these little plastic tabs and you want to lock them in here. Now we're going to install our 4 screws around the base of the door panel and up around the back. I'm going to start with our leading one here. Snug them down gently. Just repeat this process for the other 3. At this point here, we've secured our last piece of hardware, and you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.